Yesterday, it is Harry and Risk. Guys, what are your picks? What are you thinking before this matchup?
Hey, Parla. Yeah, no, you guys on the desk are a bit harsh, I feel like. I'm going to go 2-1, but still in favor of
Mr.
Heroic.
Nice guy. Yeah.
What can I say?
It's not about being harsh, it's about reality.
Yeah, okay, that's... Yeah, well, I'm a big fan of Sean Garris.
It's all a big, like, reality.
Again,
yeah, true.
Being a fan doesn't, it's not supposed to sway you one way or the other.
I do think with the maps coming into this, I think we could see Misfits pick one up. So I'm going to go 2-1 still.
I think they're
2-1. Which map are they going to get then?
I think we could. Wow. No. I think we could see them take Mirage.
I think the interesting fact is like they obviously are going to be looking at a lot of demos, and I'm pretty sure Heroic knows that as well. So how is that going to affect their mindset?
They've got the big surprise factor, right, coming into this. No one really knows that much about them, so I think we could see it. How about you, Risk?
Yeah, Risk, feel free to take it away completely because this match is pretty much ready to go. Thank you.
Thank you. But yeah, to continue that train of thought, I think I'm going to agree with my Danish friend, my Finnish friend, Nato, on the desk and say it's going to be a 2-0. I'm not going to say it's going to be a crushing 2-0 because I think like Misfits have something to them. They look like organized compared to other NA teams. As we saw them yesterday, I think Peacemaker's leadership on that team has actually done them very well. So I think they're going to do kind of well. They're going to get like 8 or 10 rounds on each map. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure it's going to be Heroic 2-0.
Yeah, I mean, based on what we did see happen yesterday, right, in that game versus Na'Vi, when Misfits were playing on Trade, we did say one thing we were kind of quite happy with was how close a lot of the rounds were. Yeah. They did look to be, performing quite well there, right? So looking at how the maps went, neither me nor you saw it going with these three. I don't think in either of the ways that we panned this out, but ultimately I do quite like the Mirage pick coming in for Misfits. I think that's one that we could see them perhaps walk away with, in all honesty. And, even the fact they've been willing to pick it up against Heroic, doesn't that kind of maybe suggest that they do have something prepared for them?
I hope they have something that no one else has seen. Because as Pimp said, this used to be Heroic's go-to map, so they're not bad on Mirage either. I didn't have it in my thoughts because usually this is a map that Misfits ban as second in the veto process, so you would expect for them not to end up on Mirage. But apparently something has changed in the veto process because now they're actually picking it. So I'm looking for them to be the catalyst of this match and changing it up because they have to do it.
Yeah, exactly right. But it is one of their most played maps, Mirage. It's one that they've played, I think it's something like 16, 17 times within the last couple of months. So, they're not strangers to it. But anyway, predictions aside, enough of that as we head into the pistol round. Let's put it into practice and see what these teams can get accomplished. We're going to see Heroic starting things off over on the T side, Misfits on that CT side, and already, look at this, they've swept their way up in towards B-Apps, looking to try and grab control of lower tunnels, and from here they could very easily try diving up through Connector, but I imagine we might see a boost in through window, and already Valdi just going to take the head off of Shazam. Yeah. And now that boost, as I said, going to be employed. Valdi, they know that he's here. He is going to be spotted out by Sick, who now desperate to try and retreat, doesn't want to fall at the hands of Valdi, and he's actually going to claim one life of his own. Yugi's going to go down, and already you can kind of see this has restricted them quite a lot. Valdi's now going to find himself here alone. The rest of his team diving on out in towards this B-bomb site. Sean Garris here to hold back the tide of Heroic, claims himself one life and a second. Go on then, Sean, looking for a third, but Nico will shut him down and claims 2 back in return. Nico going to find himself 1 versus 2, does have the bomb in hand. 50 seconds left to play around with. And they're just going to rush in onto the site, but he's going to take one, looking to try and bite off even more as he's looking for the 4K, and he might just get it. Nico to open things up. Yeah. And that is Heroic to find the pistol round against overwhelming odds.
Harsh reality just hit Misfits there. They thought they were going to go through, but in the end, they got wrecked by Nico, the young star from Denmark. And I actually like the way that they played that 2v1, because usually the way that if you're 1v2 in a T's perspective, you want to create 2 individual duels. But instead, they actually both jump out of the window and try to duel him at the same time. They get the timing slightly off, and that's something they need to change, of course. But the idea behind what they did was correct. But in the end, what can you do when Nico gets a 4K, like when his aim is that much on point? Sometimes you just lose duels, and that's just an aim thing, so you can't really do much about that, like judgment-wise or making good decision-making. So here we go. Smokes are setting up for Heroic. All UMP 45s, pistols on the CT side as you would expect. So now it's up to Amanek and the guys to see if they can bring the deeks, and they do.
Yeah, Amanek can open things up, looking to try and dig some more woeful players up towards Sean. Actually does find his second. Snappy gonna hit the deck. Now it's all on Sean Garris. Over here towards B, he's here alone with the dig. Wish those first couple of shots, trying to chain together the second, but no, Yugi does do the job of eliminating him. Shazam going to be forced on back by that Molotov. Actually, both mollies down over towards Shops, completely denying the rotate on through, buys them plenty of time to get the bomb down. Now the remaining 3 players for Misfits making their way up through Short and Apps. Coming in from 3 different angles of attack. Modi is here to hold back the first over in Apartments, takes the peek, but Devidak going to take his head clean off, and it was looking good, but now it is all on Devidak over towards Apps. 1 versus 2.
Though.
Yeah, he does have the UMP to play around with as well. Plenty of armor, plenty of time, finds the first. He's only got Yugi left to deal with, who's playing around the pillar, but he does do the job of eliminating Devidak, and that'll be heroic to pick up that second round, albeit by the skin of their teeth.
Very, very close, and it's been a lot of utility on that as well. It should not have been the closing. And you can see Marty even in that round, he's not happy after that. His face was like, this is not good enough, boys. We can do way better than that. Amanek, of course, with the Deagles, as I mentioned in the beginning, this position is so good for a Deagle player. If you can hit that first shot and then take the second duel, if you can do 2 for 1 in that position, that's absolutely perfect. So right now, what we're seeing from Heroic is that they know they're up against almost complete eco. They have P250s and 1 Deagle on the CT side. So what they want to do is do a complete, what can you say, setup, default strat where they just know exactly where to place their smokes and know when to push in and use that Molotov, use that economical advantage they have through their utility and make that utility into a round win.
Yeah, now Misfits did actually stack 5 players over here towards A, but they're going to rotate them all off, and I think that's just, you know, on a bit of a gamble that they might be heading over towards B. Now, of course, we know that currently they're residing a whole bunch of players over towards that A bomb site, but actually they're going to be rotating both Nico and Yugi to join Snappy in mid, and that's all because he's been pinned down now over towards the... And actually, Sorgara is going to lose his life, so they do lose control of middle on the side of Misfits. Heroic with plenty of time to play around with, plenty in terms of firepower as well, as they start to claim even more ground out towards mid. Shazam missing a couple of chance shots in through window, and now the push going to come on through, but Yugi and Modi, they don't care for that. They pick up 2 frags between them, and then Snappy finishes it off. A quick, relatively clean round coming in from Heroic, and that's exactly what they need after, what, 2 very, very close rounds initially to keep that economy building up over on the T side. But the buy is going to come in from Misfits.
Also get that Mac-10 farm in, 2 kills coming in from Snappy. Always good to have that Mac-10 player go aggressive. And maybe if he dies, that's okay because he's going to upgrade anyway, but get that money bonus in from the Mac-10. Right now, Yugi with an AWP. Up against Shazam in middle, but it's going to be Shazam taking it. So that's the first win in that AWP duel match we're going to see throughout this best of 3. And I think Yugi, of course, the big favorite here, but Shazam starting off great, and that's what we need for him. Confidence to start this off.
Yeah, now Sean Garrett and Amanek, they have the crossfires set up over here towards the B-bomb, so they've actually rotated Shazam around as well, very preemptively. I do like that because the timing is going to be fairly spot on for him now to rotate back over towards this A-bomb. So I imagine we're going to see him peeking out through mid in CT, so they've still got controller connected. Now, it looked like Heroic were thinking about falling on back when that smoke went down, but for the time being, it doesn't look like the bomb's just going to remain over here towards Apps, backed up by Modi and Valdi. Snappy now looking to rejoin the rest of the team. I imagine going to duck in through mid, try to make his way up through short, or just prevent the rotates coming in from the rest of Misfits. But time is ticking away. Right, really starting to think that they want to be making them out on one of these sites sooner rather than later. And it does look like B is going to be the site in question. Snappy just lurking down through mid. Going to be in such a perfect place to try and deny the rotates. Now the push comes through. Sean Garrett's going to go down straight away. Doesn't get a word in edgeways, but it's Amanek over by short to claim the first in return. Returning that man advantage, finds a second as well. Sick on the flank, going to be able to dispatch of Nico, and in the blink of an eye, it's all on Snappy. The load mid lurk AWPer finds himself having to deal with the oncoming onslaught from Misfits. Bombs down up in Apps. There's very little time left. He's just looking to save, but hot on his heels. Sick looking to go aggressive here and try and pick this up, perhaps.
He's just holding the angle. He knows that he has to run out the time at first because he doesn't want to give Snappy any chance of getting any kills, and if the time runs out, then he can go for the frag. But Misfits, of course, in the economical situation they're in right now, they're generating something, but they want to save as much money as possible. So it doesn't really matter if Heroic gets this AWP because they're going to be able to force around it. Actually, they want them to force around this, so the buy from Heroic's not going to be that good. So what Misfits here are doing is that they're thinking about their own game. They don't really want to hamstring the heroic side and take them out and make them a problem. They're just focusing on their own economy, building their own game, and I think that's what they need to do in this matchup as well, because you can't really surprise against heroic. You just have to play your own solid game and then let that carry and let that be the deciding factor in the matchup. Like this right now, spamming through the smokes as you would expect. Seangar is going for a very weird peek in that, in my opinion. That was not a good decision because Snappy's just ready to punish it. Luckily for them, Amanek comes in with the refrag.
Yeah, he's been doing a great job in towards this B-bomb side, getting those trades in and keeping it in the advantage, or at least equal across the board. Sick, making his way towards window. Now, little does he know it, but there is a Valdi in the mist, and they're touching the tips of their barrels together, but Valdi, he's going to spot him out and does claim the life. Now it's the man advantage back in favor of Heroic, but the trade, or the equalizer rather, does come in from DreamHack, who finds himself pinned down but loses his life in the duel versus Valdi. Now it's Shazam to hold down this A-bomb site, picks up the first onto Nico, now going to fade away.
That was the bomb as well.
Yeah, bomb is dropped it out in the open. They are going to go ahead and pick that up, but it did buy them a little bit more time to rotate round. Shazam falls on the push in from Yugi. Bomb now taken away. It's all on Amanek, the B player who's rotated on round, been doing such a good job over towards that B bomb site. Now tasked with trying to retake A in a 1v2. Yugi's fallen back over towards ramp to hold the angle, but Amanek claims the first. Now he's still got Yugi left to find. He doesn't know where he is, but Yugi's going to miss the first shot. He's got the Molotov, as you were just about to say, to play around with here. And that could be enough to hold back Yugi with the AWP, but he's not going to opt to throw it. Instead, takes his head clean off. Defuse looking to come on in, and I think there's just enough time left. So Misfits will be picking up that second round.
That was really impressive from Amanek, that way that he handled his spray control onto the guy on the side, and then the way that he played the duel onto the guy in A-ramp, because usually when you have a guy in A-ramp and the bomb is planted for him, you're always going to win that. And especially with Yugi's reflexes on the AWP, that's actually really, really nice. One thing I have to say though, when they're playing that 2v2 and Shazam is up in A Palace, like, why? He gets the first one and then he goes back and then he repicks. Why is he not waiting for his teammate? Because he knows all the attention is on him right now. There's no reason to peek. He can maybe like make a little bit of noise, open it up for Amanek. They have time. Like, it's not really that big of a question. So Shazam making a mistake. Amanek though, he's making up for it no problem in this round as well. Taking up the AWP, taking out Modi to begin with, and all of a sudden 5v4, and Misfits might even get this 3-3 right now. And also economically, this would force Heroic on a save round, I think.
Yeah, Amanek is here with the AWP, and he has awoken, finds a second. And then you've got Sean Garris over towards short to try and reinforce, claims a second life as well. It's all on Nico. Sean Garris goes in for a third, but instead it's going to be onto Amanek to try and pick up the triple, and there it is. Gets himself the hat-trick.
Yeah, French CS, man.
Yeah, at this point, the Frenchman doing a good job on the side of Misfits. You know, in particular, you're really looking at Amanek right now. It'd be nice to see DreamHack, you know, stepping up as well. We saw him yesterday have a very good performance. So, I say very good, but, you know, good performance at least on the team. So, it will be nice to be able to accredit this to both the Frenchmen as we head into the next round. As you said, the economy of Heroic not looking at too great. It's just going to be pistols poured up across the board. You can see the bomb. Snappy and Valdi making their way over towards B. They leave both Modi and Nico at this A-bomb site to try and sell a bit of a fake, but I don't think it's going to work out because little do they know it, Sean Garris and Sick already making their way up through mid. Sick spots out two players in lower tunnels. One of them did have the bomb as well, so picking up that first frag, immediately falling on back, and they actually keep Sean Garris in mid just to keep this pressure up.
DreamHack with a nice shot on Nico, and the Deagles are not, well, unless you get that magical 1 Deag, then it's going to be really hard to do anything if the CTs are playing their positions correctly. Sean Garris is the only one doing the aggressive peeking. The rest of the team are just holding back and holding the angles because they know they have the long-range weaponry. It's not really going to be too much of a duel, to be honest. Now, Yugi's trying to come close range with the Tech 9, which he's doing right now in Connector, which is the duel he can find, but they, of course, double peek him as any normal team would, and there's nothing that Yugi can do in that situation. I really like the way that Misfits play this, to be honest, because like they get the opening from Sick and he just rotates back instantly. And that's some of the things you see on teams that are not as well drilled or not in like the top 30 of the world. They go for a peek and then they re-peek straight after. A clever team or a clever team player takes a peek, then rotates back and lets his teammate hold the angle and work together as a team instead of trying to go for that double peek and go all frag hungry and get like go for that double. So I really like that from Sick, and it's also a good thing to note that he's playing that intelligently this early in his career, because he's a young dude and there's plenty of years to come in his career, and if he's already right now playing that smart, that's really good.
Now, this time, Heroic, they're looking to slow things down just a little bit. They left the bomb back in T-spawn, and that's not your typical matchmaking mistake. Instead, they're scouting out all the areas of the map, trying to see if they can find something early on. They know that Sean Garris in that previous round went aggressive in mid. He's still got the UMP, so there's still the chance for him, to play that more aggressive angle. They're trying to pick something up early on. And you can see that in absence of that, Snappy's fallen on back to pick the bomb up over in T-spawn. Rotating around with him is Nico, and they're taking it very slowly. They're wary about the potential push up in mid once again from Sean Garris. So they're sneaking all the way in through T-spawn as they look to make their way out onto this A bomb site. They leave Yugi in the back line up in absent. From here, he can do a lot. He can sell the fake in towards B. Alternatively, he can try to dip in through lower tunnels and catch the players on the rotate in mid. So potential here for him to come up in a big way. The rest of the team now executing out over here towards this A bomb site. The wall of smokes goes down to cut the site literally in half. And now the push going to come on through. Sick on stairs, got to try and pick up these frags, buy some time, but no, he's going to go down straight away, leaving a lot of pressure on Shazam over towards CT spawn. He actually can spot out the bomb plot there, but he doesn't connect the shots necessary, so the bomb will go down. Amanek now having to worry about Yugi on the flank. Suddenly he's got a lot of work to do as Sean Garris is going to fall as well. Suddenly it's a 3-on-5, and at this point, they're so cut out of this site, they're so locked down, all the pressure's on Davidovec, and if he doesn't show up, I imagine we're just going to see a save come in.
For sure. They should save. If he doesn't get an opening right now, they're going to go straight out and save. So now it's now 1v4, and it's going to be completely impossible for him to do anything. It's going to be Heroic picking up that one. I was about to say I was going to give Misfits credit for taking a lot of mid control early in the round and actually using their utility to take that mid control. But when they had it, they did nothing with it.
Yeah.
And when that Heroic push came onto A, they just got locked out of the bomb site. The rotations weren't fast enough. They didn't go quick enough up mid and take that big information play and get that information that, okay, then there's nothing in mid, there's nothing in B tunnels, they're going to go A. That did not happen for them. So they took mid control but did nothing with it. And that's a big no-no when you're playing Mirage against a really good team. You have to always constantly use the tools that you get. And if you get that mid control, you have to make it into something else. And they didn't this time around. That allowed Heroic to do the execute. But Sean Garris finally opening up, winning a duel on that B-bomb side.
Yeah, the early man advantage taken here for Misfits, and they lose Modi as well, fairly integral part of the Heroic lineup. Already no refrag found, so they are going to be under pressure to try and find some sort of equalizer. You can see how Misfits are playing on the back of finding this early man advantage. Look at their positioning of Davidovec up towards A ramp. He's pushed up so aggressive. Sean Garris' crosshair literally on Snappy right now. If only he knew.
The back coming.
Spray's going to come in, but Snappy to find the frag. Shazam actually misses that next shot, doesn't connect it, and then falls to Valdi over at short. Suddenly the collapse in towards this B-bomb site going to come through. Amanek locked out due to the nice utility usage employed by Heroic. Bomb's going to go down. Davidovec, once again, all eyes on him to try and open this up on the flank, but he's taking it slowly, and really we're going to look actually to Amanek and Sick being the players to have to be the catalysts behind this retake. They're only at a one-man disadvantage. Snappy's tagged down low. Davidovec's in a great place to try and shut this down, but the only thing is, whilst he hasn't made any noise, the rotate's taken so long that they're going to expect someone to come from here. Surely he only claims one before Valdi swiftly returns. The save's going to come out from Amanek and Sick. So they're just going to save up the AWP and M4 into the next round.
I really like how Heroic takes over that bomb site because they win the duels. When they get those two frags to go straight into the bomb site, puts a lot of utility in towards market because they know that's where the rotation is going to come from right now. The first rotation is going to be from there. And then when they molly that off, they get into their post-plant positions. And when they're like 3 guys in post-plant positions, it doesn't matter if it's 3v3. That's just it. Like, you can't lose a B side unless something absolutely crazy happens. The instant Davidovec gets a frag on Nico, Valde's looking straight up there, so he knows he can shut down Davidovec when he comes in because he knows exactly where he's coming from. So that post plan was just perfect from Heroic, and the way that they used their utility to get to that post plan position was also really good. So looking good on the T side for Heroic so far. Of course, giving away 4 rounds for Misfit this early in the game is not good, but the way that they are playing these last couple of rounds here, Heroic, I have to say, I'm not worried at all. Now I am, maybe. Eating a grenade like that. Straight for breakfast. Good morning, Yugi. Oh, Nico.
It is still early days, though, and over in mid, Yugi does claim one, but then there's returns coming swiftly and in a big way from Misfits. They claim that man advantage. 2 players still alive for Heroic, but they're going to get the bomb down, and that's going to return the pressure back into the hands of Misfits. They have to try and retake this B bomb site. Now, they might have a significant man advantage, but as Modi goes aggressive, he's looking to try and turn things back into their favor just a little bit more. Sadly, they lose Snappy up in apps on the push from Amanek, and Shazam finally connects the shot with that AWP.
So what Heroic need to do right now is take more focus on that mid control, because that's the second round in a row now where Misfits have been allowed to take mid control. This time around, they're actually terrorists in mid, and when they push 3 CTs at the same time, there's not much Heroic can do about that. Like, they're just losing their duels due to the fact that the CTs are pushing them in positions where they're not really expecting it. So they need to be more aware of that mid control, and if they do that, I think they on cruise control for the rest of the game. But once again, Misfits, like every single time I seem to count them out, they come back with something that shouldn't really work, because Heroic should be punishing it, but somehow they don't.
Oh, DreamHack only going to claim one now. It's sick to try and line them up and knock them down, but he only does a little bit of damage, spread sparsely across the players of Heroic. Now Bomb looking to try and go down on the site. Snappy just guillotines Shazam. Does return the man advantage back in favor of Heroic. Now Sean Garrett is desperately trying to claim something in through the smoke, but he can't connect anything. Bomb just ticking away. After plants have been grabbed quickly from the side of Heroic. And at this point, it looks like they might be considering saving. They're falling back with Sean Garrett. Amanek isn't doing anything. As Sick finds that one frag. Suddenly now they look tempted to go in for the defuse, but I mean, they've wasted so much time in not deciding to push this, and it might be a little bit too late as they try desperately to make their way back into the site. Bomb's ticking away.
Nope.
They're running very, very low on time, and Valdi's going to make things that much harder. They're looking so confused as to whether or not they're going to go for that. I mean, you saw that Amanek started to fall back from the stairs. Sean Garrett pushed in and was left alone, and that was sloppy to say the least, Riz.
Yeah, the decision-making there was totally off. They were 2v3 in a post-plant position with not a lot of time left. They needed to get on the bomb within 5 seconds, or else that round is going to be lost. So 2v3, they have a lot of utility, a lot of weaponry as well, and they're just going for it. It seems like they need a player to make the decision for them, because individually they are not poised enough to say, okay, I'm probably going to save this. I understand the situation. So leadership and communication definitely an issue here for Misfits, because that was the wrong choice. Right now, B-bomb side is completely open. Shazam is in the market. Amanek is pushing up, getting a frag onto Nico. Bomb will go down though. 4v4 post plant.
Yeah, they've still got the snake in the grass. The player in the back line, Valdi, to watch the push up through mid. Will be spotted out by Amanek. He's got to get some work done, and he's actually just going to go down before he can accomplish anything. They might have the man advantage, but that bomb has been taken away for so long now. They're just going to go ahead and save. Now, at least DreamHack should be able to find himself that AK in mid. We might see a player make their way up through short in the form of Snappy to try and keep an eye on exactly that, but no, he's going to be able to get it in time. So they will save up, what, 3 rifles and an AWP on Shazam,
yeah.
Which, you know, does mean into that next round they're going to have a decent buy together. Just a whole shot at this once again. I mean, that round was entirely doable. Had they had just that little bit more time, they'd actually take that man advantage, but ultimately that B-bomb site crumbled from the offset.
The way that they gambled on that is that they played Shazam very defensively with an AWP in market, and then they play, I think it was Amanek and DreamHack into, yeah, as we see right now, into this underpass. It's Amanek. And when you play that and they push straight for B, you have mid control, but you have no B control, because unless Shazam hits the first shot or is poised in an aggressive angle, you can't hold that bomb site at all. And that just allows Heroic to get into the site once again, get into the post-plant positions. And as we've seen so far, when they get into the post-plant positions on B, there's not much Misfits can do.
Exactly. And now as we find ourselves in round 13, approaching the end of the first half, Shazam in mid, he's had no luck today hitting these shots and really is looking to be kind of the weakest link on the team. Having the AWP control on this map is something that can make or break your CT side, and right now, he's missed almost every shot he's taken since getting onto that AWP.
Yeah, he's 5-7 on the scoreboard right now as well. The same as the score.
And while over the wood shot, Valdi looking to try and open things up. A little bit of pre-firing through the smoke, because you can see 2 players now pushing up through connector. Modi just spotted out.
Oh, but there's a second guy. I like
this. Here we go. Yeah, they're actually going for the double peek. He's tagged down incredibly low. Modi just limping away from the action, but it's Nico to come in on the flank. Picks up the first. He knows there's a second there, and he's going to go ahead and take that as well. Give him an inch, and he'll take a mile. Shazam finally pulls through with the AWP, returns the man advantage to Heroic, and drops the bomb out in the open over towards A. They have got a player in the back line. We can see closing in through CT spawn. It's going to be Valdi, and no one's really aware that he's here. They go ahead and take the peek, but Valdi pounces. Amanek going to hit the deck. And now Modi watching this push. Not going to be prepared for Sean Garrett coming in the back line on this long flank in through T-spawn. Nearly downside is Shazam's been left to fend for himself in towards A, and suddenly this could be crumbling down around them. He picks up the bomb. It's going to go down though as Sean Garrett finally pounces. There's only 10 seconds left. Just running that clock out down. He takes the peek, and Sean Garrett are going to secure that round there for Misfits. Very nice play from him, if I'm honest. I mean, I was questioning it a lot when he left Shazam all on his own up towards the site, but he goes ahead, he makes up for it. Was that necessarily the best thing to do? No, but did it work out? It sure enough did.
Yeah. If it works, you can't really criticize it too much, but I would agree with you there. There was probably weird decision-making to leave his teammates stranded on that bomb site when he could just step and make the guy on ramp go back and at least have to secure that angle. But then again, it works out for him in the end, so he can be happy enough with that. Maybe look back at that doing a demo and see his decision-making was maybe a bit off point, but he gets a kill and he gets a round, and that's really all Misfits need right now, because if they can keep up with Heroic and go round for round with them, that's going to be insanely good for them. And also, here Mirage, of course, going to need to get that win.
Yeah, now Heroic this time putting the emphasis over in mid. As you said, Shazam's here with the M4, but he's been forced out of window almost immediately. Meanwhile, Sick going to take the aggressive angle over in Palace and does pick up Modi very early on, grabbing the early man advantage, and they've also forced everyone off of this A bomb site. Heroic, they lose the second prong in their two-pronged attack out towards A. It basically means it's entirely off the cards now, right? Making them up through connected, it should just be a slaughterhouse, and with how Misfits are playing this B bomb site, they've got 3 players here in any way. So I think if Heroic try and play this, you know, how they should, which is probably the head B, seeing as they can wrap players in through lower tunnels, boost players up in towards window, then they're going to be walking into the more stacked site of the two.
The question is, how long are they going to stay on A? Oh, on B, the 3 players, because if Valde gets into jungle and makes a lot of noise and starts smoking and everything, then Sean Garris is definitely going to rotate. He's already on the rotate right now. Maybe Shazam is even going to rotate as well. So if they can time this correctly, let's see here. Sean Garris goes down as well, and here comes the push towards B. Right now, it's 2v2 on that B bomb site. Botchik coming in from behind. Shazam picking one up, and now it's all on Snappy.
Yeah, now he does find that first on his Shazam. Still got Sick and Amnet listed here with 5 HP to Dream and only 10 seconds left. It would require a miracle, but maybe Snappy can deliver us one of those. Instead, gonna make the smart decision. Instead of trying to go for the impossible play, does just opt to save the AK into the next round, which means that it's going to be their only rifle ready to play around with. We could see Nico potentially pick one up. I imagine we're just going to see some UMPs board up for that T side. And there we go. We will be seeing another rifle in play at least to join them. 2 AKs, a UMP, and some Deagles for Nico and Yugi. Between them, it's not that ideal. And we can actually Misfits finish this now with the 1-round advantage. But, you know, UMP's very strong. Deag's very strong in the hands of the right players. And Heroic definitely have the right players to use them. So as they make their way out mid, they're trying to grab control. Shazam once again over towards window. Just going to be forced back very early on. So mid control goes the way of Heroic. And you can see it's become the focus of their attention this time. They've got Snappy wrapping in through lower tunnel to help grab control of it. So it is just going to be stolen out. Sick, the only one who can really do anything in towards Connector, but even then he's very pushed up and will be caught with his pants down over towards Connector, falling at the hands of Yugi.
And when you have a player like Yugi on a Deagle, and generally the rule is if you have a player called Nico, then you have to equip him with the Deagle as well, so definitely can do some damage. And if they flash for each other, they can get close range to these M4s and take the duels while the M4s are flashed, as we saw when Stick went down. Then they have a real opportunity here. Right now it's 5v4. If they decide to go for an A split, then I think this is a good opportunity for them. Shazam now taking over the position in Connector. And Amanek here. So technically they only have 1 guy on site. The 2 others, Amanek and Shazam, are right now focused on the Connector. So if they do the A split right now, this is a great opportunity for Heroic. But Amanek wants to change that. Trades 1 for 1.
Yeah, looking to try and make that towards A, but Shazam wants to make things difficult. Only gets 1 in middle as Yugi finds himself another frag with this Deagle. Now he's got the AK to try and pop some heads with, and this is where he's going to be most threatening. Davidovec alone and in CT spawn to hold off the push over towards A. Does pick up Modi at least. Yugi still very much alive. And as Sean Garris falls to Nico with the Deag, I think you were right about equipping him with that Deagle. Bomb is going to go down. Davidovec got to try and 1v2. Does still have the M4, but doesn't have a kit to play around with here. And the crossfire set up between both Nico and Yugi. The trade should come through if Davidovec picks up this burst. Gonna peek out, finds the frag onto Yugi. Now things get interesting. It's all on Nico with the Deagle on the site. Davidovec looking to try and do the impossible here as he comes in, turns the 1v2 into 1-on-1 and finds the frag on a Nico as well. Davidovec in home turf goes ahead and makes that clutch possible, picks up that 8th round for Misfits, and they finish the first half with that 1-round advantage.
Oh yeah, that's a really, really nice clutch there, to be honest. Also, the 2 Frenchmen have been looking very, very good in clutch situations in this game so far, and they are, in my opinion, one of the biggest reasons that Misfits are actually winning this half. 8-7. Right now we do see Amanek on the scoreboard, 16-7 scoreline for him. Davidovec as he clutched that 1v3 in the end, 12-9. So all the Americans are slowly lacking behind, but the two Frenchmen right now on home turf are really doing it for Misfits. And 8-7, man. That's a good scoreline. But to be honest, if Misfits want any chance of getting somewhere in this best of 3, they have to win this map. Like, if they lose this, it's going to be 2-0, no problem, because definitely is going to go to Heroic.
I mean, at the end of the day, if they get onto that third map, then, you know, things aren't looking that bad.
There might be a possibility, but they need to win Mirage. If they don't win Mirage, it's going to be very hard. So this comes down to the pistol we're going to see in a few seconds here when the game resets. How are Misfits going to play that on the T side? Because that's what I'm looking forward to. I like their T side on Train and the thoughts behind it when they played in the first game here in the tournament yesterday. They looked very structured. So if they can do that again and have a really structured pistol round, get that good start and get that momentum flowing, maybe get on 11 rounds, 11-7 scoreline, I think they might actually have a chance. But it's going to be hard. Heroic are going to do whatever they can.
Yeah, I mean, not just that, right? But when you look at the scoreboard, let's face it, really it's the Frenchman kind of pulling Misfits up right now. On the T side, that's going to be much easier, but already it's Yugi aggressive up towards top mid, does pick up the first. Nico's here to try and reinforce, and it's just a slaughter over in middle. Yugi's here popping heads, trying to get himself a third, but it will be denied. As Sick finally goes ahead and picks them up, they've already rotated Valdi on round, and he will be there to trade things on out. Meanwhile, Davidovec falls over at ramp, so Misfits going to go ahead and pick up that pistol. Now looking to try and convert the two anti-ecos to take this scoreline 10-8.
All right, boys. Dreams over. Dream time's over. Now back to harsh reality. 2 pistol rounds in this game right now for Heroic. Really nice for them. Nico's clutching the first one, 4K. This time around, Yugi's aggressive play in mid is what saves Heroic. And now they're 8-8. Weapon advantage for the CTs. And Misfits now with a bunch of smokes and flashes. So they might go for an execute here. Yeah, right now situated towards that B. But it's not really that much of a focus. They just spread out on the map, making sure that no CTs are pushing, and then they're going to meet up in 30, 40 seconds or so and get ready for that big execute.
Oh, nice. He's going to go ahead. It comes in swinging, and Valdi's going to take the full brunt of that to the face, and suddenly they've grabbed this man advantage. You can see it's not pulled to rotate in from that B bomb site, which could be to their advantage, as now they're quickly wrapping around over towards A. Yugi has moved into jungle, leaving mid open, and that's going to once again work out brilliantly in favor of Misfits. Now he returns to middle with that CZ, picks up the first on a Sick. Now they're trying to sneak up in through connector, and they're going to get through. Nico doesn't peek out from short. Yugi up close with the CZ, got to do some serious work, and okay, he's doing just that, gets himself 3, but in comes Davidovec with the Deeg, gets a second. The high-powered hand cannon looking to try and claim some lives in from Palace. Sean Garres has the crossfire set up, but Davidovec going to go down. It's all on Sean. 1v3. He's got to watch out because there's a player coming in from behind in the form of Nico. Sean's got his knife out, looking to try and spread butter on these players. Oh. Sean, what are you doing? In through the smoke. Down goes Snappy. He's making it work. Sean, this is ridiculous, but no. He will go down. They've got a kit as well, so they're going to get the defuse. Could you imagine if that was how Sean Garres goes ahead and clutch this out?
Just with the knife, easy, in the smoke. But yeah, that's when you hear that defuse clicking in the smoke and you just like, you have no idea where you are, you have no idea where the bomb is, and you just start knifing frantically in the smoke. Eventually he gets the kill, but it's in a 1v3, there's no way he's going to be able to clutch that. But he gets knife kill, gets some extra money in. The bomb plant, of course, goes down, so money's going to be fine coming up in the next round for Misfits. They're going to have enough to buy all the utility they want, and maybe even drop an AWP over to Shasham if they want to do that T-side ult. I think there's a possibility of doing that, and that's what that bomb plant and all that extra money gives you. Have more wiggle room to do the strats that you really like. You don't want to be missing out on smokes for an execute.
Oh, Yugi with the slam dunk nade onto Amanek. Yeah, this round just looking to be a mop-up for Heroic. They want to try and keep everyone alive and not fall prey to the Deegs on Misfits. There's still only 2 rounds between these teams, right? Once Heroic, well, I mean, providing Heroic do go ahead and pick this up, so Misfits by no means out of it just yet, and Heroic not out of danger either. Just mopping up these players over in middle. You can see that both Davidovec and Sick over towards here as well. They do have a nice crossfire set up with connector, but the good thing about this for Misfits is they do get a feel, at least, for how Heroic are going to be playing these rifle rounds. They're getting a very good idea of how they're planning to hold on to mid. And, you know, if I were Misfits, I'm not too sure how much I would commit to trying to go for those sorts of connector plays unless they can get the utility downrange, and that's why it's lucky they have got plenty of money now to go ahead and get it. If they, you know, sometimes with a lot of how these teams do go ahead and play mid, you can see maybe necessarily kind of skimp out a little bit on what you are throwing down in terms of your smokes, your flashes. Up against Heroic, you know, you definitely can't. And that's very much what they learned when they got completely slaughtered every single time they tried to
Interesting decision here. As I mentioned, they have the money to pick to get Shazam onto that AWP, but that means Sean Garris has to drop in due to the fact he got the knife kill. That also means that Sean Garris only has one smoke. So as we talked about the utility, gonna be one player on only a smoke and nothing else, but they also have, in that trade, Shazam on the T-AWP. And that's not something you expect here in the first buy round. Of course, with Sean Garris getting that knife kill, they have to know it's a possibility, and that's why Yugi has picked up one of his own.
Yeah, now with how they're set up, it looks like A is going to be the overall site, right? That's the kind of vibe I'm getting. You've got two players in mids going for the push. Amanek can watch any aggression over in B and then loop in through lower tunnels, and then they can split both up through ramp and connector, but there's still plenty of time to play around with. You can see Sean's actually rotating on back with the bombs. That could dictate a bit of a change in strategy. And perhaps instead even go for the B play because they have still got Amanek over towards B. DreamHack could then just sell that lurk. And with how Heroic are set up, currently going B does seem like the better choice to make. You can just smoke off connector and render so many of these players useless and get the guys up through short. 4 players for Misfits over in mid. DreamHack going to pounce out towards that A bomb site, taking out Nico. Now Moddy's had to rotate around to try and help out best he can, leaving Valdi on his own in connector, who takes the first engagement. Going to take a second as well. Sean Garris, Valdi, what are you doing? Just destroying these guys in mid. It's all on DreamHack, the lone Frenchman, as Valdi gets the 4K. I imagine a part of him wants to go hunting for the ace, especially seeing as DreamHack is tagged down so incredibly low. And actually, instead of saving, it looks like he's going to try and make some magic happen. 15 HP in a dream as he makes it back towards ramp, but no, he's just going to hold position, waits to see if anyone comes hunting, and no one is going to. So time will run out, but they saved the AK at least as a bit of a silver lining, I suppose. Yeah. But you know, it's a little consolidation for what was otherwise a very sloppy round.
Yeah. And as they usually say, all the great plays come from mistakes from the other team. And I think Misfits making big mistakes there. For the first thing, they have their backs turned to the connector. The first frag he gets, there's just a guy watching the window. No one's watching connector at all, which allows Valet to get the first one. Second one is dual. Third one is a really hard shot to hit. And of course, with the fourth, just getting that, Valet's aim is on point. And we do have a small technical pause right now, so that'll be hopefully fixed very soon. And, okay, it says tactical, but in chat it says tech. So I'm not sure. I don't know what to believe anymore, Harry. I don't know what to believe.
I don't know what to believe right now. I mean, Misfits, they were looking fairly, I'd say they were looking great in that first half, in all honesty. It's slowed down a little bit since then. I think some sloppy calls have been made across the board on this T side, but you know, ultimately, I'm still expecting we can see them get a couple more rounds. But like you said, Mirage, it's important they pick this up. If Heroic go ahead and win this out, I don't see them standing a chance on Nuke. Nuke is very much home turf for Heroic. When you look at it, it was the one that they knocked out VP at IEM, if you remember, on Nuke. That was the kind of the defining map for them.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, of course, that was a big upset there. Since then, they've gone on to just do amazing on there. And it's a very comfortable map for them.
Team. Yeah. That's why I said, like, if Misfits wants any chance to this best of 3, they have to win their own map choice. They go for Mirage. I would probably see them go for another map. In my little book, I have them written down as maybe picking a Train, because I actually liked how they played Train despite them getting smashed by Na'Vi, and they have good results in that map as well. But they need to win their map choice, because we know unless like they insta ban it, it's going to be Heroic picking Nuke in that second one, and they're going to win Nuke. Let's just have it like that. That's not even going to be a question. So if you want to win a best of 3 against Heroic, you have to win your own map and then the third one. Luckily, they get Train in the third one, so they have a good possibility. But then again, if they lose Mirage, it's all but over.
Yeah, and so I've just been informed that they're restarting the coach's PC, I think, for Misfits. So it shouldn't take too long to either. It's just a restart. But yeah, you know, I think what we've seen as well from Misfits so far has looked good on Mirage. I'm hoping we can see them claim a couple more rounds, because I do think that if they go ahead and pick this up, seeing how Train goes would be extremely interesting. DreamHack and Amanek being, you know, the two kind of standout players by a long way. But you know, something that I have liked is, for example, one thing that we've seen work out quite well is them just grabbing the map control early on, spreading on out. They go for kind of the standard almost pick and play strategy, but they take map control, they wait. The thing that's been impeding them a lot over on their T side is then just taking these very, very weird gambles. I think the thing that's benefited them a lot is their ability to trade things out and actually, you know, line up these nice crossfires and whatnot. And whenever you kind of take the gambles like that, like putting everyone over towards mid, you essentially invalidate all the info you've waited around to get that whole time, given Heroic plenty of time to start scoping out the map since you've rotated players off. And all in all, I mean, that mid play a minute ago, there were some serious signs of miscommunication there. Once again, seems to be a bit of a reoccurring theme with Misfits, I feel like.
Decision-making in the crunch time situations, and also like just getting that communication in. It's very, very important. And that is what makes and breaks the top team, in my opinion. Like, of course, you can have 5 players with good aim and good understanding, but if you can't communicate and if you don't have a clear leader who makes the decision at all points so you can be very like clear about what the plan is, it's going to be incredibly hard to play against a team that has those things. And Heroic do have those things. So unless you can do the same thing yourself, it's going to be almost impossible to win that matchup. So it seems like we're finally ready now. Davidovec is ready in chat. And we might be jumping back into the game any second now. Scoreline reads 11-8 in favor of Heroic. And Misfits are going to be on, of course, they have the AK from the last round, but the rest of the team are going to be on pistols around it. So it's not going to be too much of an investment. So Heroic might go up 12-8 here on the map choice of Misfits. Mirage.
Yeah, Misfits, they're just going to be making their way towards A with all these techs. And the lone rifle and Davidovec, they sent Amanek on his own over there towards B, hoping to sell a bit of a fake. As he peeks on out, we've got Snappy posted on up with the AWP. And I mean, given the opportunity, he will not hesitate to fire a shot downrange and just completely wipe Amanek off the face of the earth. So instead, he's going to make the right decision to loop back around over towards lower tunnels. Now, Valdi is here with the AK to deal with this exact situation. But in the meantime, Davidovec's been allowed so much pressure out towards A. Now, they do hear him making his way out towards stairs. As you can see, Valdi's holding it passively in connector. Out comes Yugi with the AWP, and he knows exactly where Davidovec is. Good communication there from Misfits to go ahead and allow that to happen. Valdi trying to find some success in through the smoke, can't connect to anything. Sean Garres does get one with the tech, but ultimately the frag's going the way of Heroic as they charge on through in this retake. Sick, gonna quickly pick up 2. Suddenly things get completely turned on its head. Snappy's been caught out and goes down as well. It's all on Sick. He's got to get himself the 4K if he wants to pick this up, as does Yugi. Defuse looking to come on in. He just taps it. Sick was going to run on through, but actually he realizes the bomb hasn't been defused just yet. Throws out the Molotov, and oh no! There might be just enough time, but no! Yugi's going to perish in the flames, and down he goes. And that's going to be Misfits to find themselves another round at 9 rounds to 11. And I mean, that was a very nice attempt there from Sick. He gets 4 frags, denies the defuse with the Molotov. A phenomenal hold from him, and I was really impressed with that.
Yeah, it's incredible, and that's what the Tech-9 short range can do. You can get those openings, then you can pick up a weapon. If you have the utility, you pick up the utility, then you're all of a sudden in a situation where you can clutch the round. And Sick once again proving to be one of these young NA players who can just play so well. His aim is on point, his decision making is on point. If he can develop into a good team player in the future, he's going to be a sick talent to watch.
And now the push out towards A ramp. Modi is here, but it's going to go down straight away. And return Amanek pouncing in middle as well on the flank. Yugi going to take some lead to the spine, but Nico looking to do onto him what he did to his teammate. Gets the revenge potentially, but no, Amanek going to deny that. Gets himself a second. Valdi finally comes through, and they do manage to deal with him at least, but now it's all on Valdi in middle. Sick, no problem. Picking up the AWP, switching things up, and showing he's just as versatile on the AWP as he is with the rifles. And it wouldn't surprise me if maybe we see him on that AWP a little bit more if he can connect those shots. I mean, Shazam's been missing a lot. It's something we've said, you know, throughout the day. And, you know, Sick just isn't having that same problem.
Oh, he's playing so well right now. In the last 2 rounds combined, he has 7 frags. That's absolutely insane. A 4K and a 3K with 2 different weapons as well. Or 3 different weapons because he had the Tech-9 in the beginning of that last round. Right now, it's going to be an eco coming out from Heroic. Valde is the only guy was actually invested into it. The rest of the team are on USPSs. So expect pretty much a whitewash here from Misfits. They should be able to take this one out pretty easily. If they lose a single AK here, it's actually going to be a problem. If they lose 2 AKs, it's actually going to be a really good round for Heroic. But then again, if they do a correct execute and just play their slow passive game, it's going to be very hard for Heroic to do anything. might catch one off guard with this push when they push 4 guys at the same place.
With the yeah, it's a beautiful sight seeing all these guys grouped up. Truly rare, but there we go. Valdi pounces in through CT with the D, going to be able to pick up the first on his Sean Garris. Now they know where he is, but they don't really have anyone in a great place to try and trade this out. And it's actually Amanek just clicking on heads over in top mid, but he's going to go down to Yugi with the USP. Valdi claims himself another life in CT. He's looking to try and get even more work done. Shazam, you really need to start hitting shots because now it's all on you. 1v4 and suddenly Heroic, they've stepped up to the plate in a big way.
How?
And Shazam, he may as well be a pacifist at this point because he's not doing anything. He's going to go down. And Heroic, they go ahead and pick up a 12th round.
That is so hard for Misfits. I think
USPs.
actually this might be the round that loses in the map, to be honest. That has to be so tilting. You know your opponent is on a full eco almost, and you have full buy up, all the utility you need, an AWP on your ult player, and you can't even win the round. They survive with 4 people. How is that even possible?
Yeah, it wasn't even like it was close.
No, it wasn't
right?
close at all. Pistols in CSGO, man. And of course, Danish CS, hell of a drug. Yeah, that's insane. They should never have been able to get even close of winning that round, Heroic. Misfits have to be absolutely gutted right now.
Well, Modi now, he's got himself a rifle. Only able to get one before Sean Garris is there to trade things out. DreamHack coming in on the flank as well, dispatching of Valdi. So suddenly this round looking to be in good form from Misfits. They have the man advantage. They've got that A bomb site. The rotate's coming in with 2 players approaching from CT. Snappy and Yugi both here. They're trying to deny the defuse, but Sick connects a 6 shot in through CT, dropping Yugi out of the equation. Nico in from short, trying to do some damage downrange, but he can't connect anything. Bombs ticking away. Snappy boosting himself up on top of the box on Ticket in CT. Is going to fall at the hands of Sick, who frankly should just have the AWP. Stop giving it to Shazam. I'm calling it now. And Sean Garris finishes things up. That'll be the 11th round going the way of Misfits. And I don't see them throwing the AWP over this time. I really don't. If they give it to Shazam, they're going to do it again. I don't think it's entirely worth it right now. He's really been missing, I would say, almost every shot he's taken on the AWP.
But then another thing is that, like, I agree with what you're saying, but he hasn't been missing every single shot. But compared to Sick, there's just no discussion who the better AWPer is right now. In general, it might be Shazam, but this map right now, it's definitely Sick. But Shazam wants to change our mind, and with that shot, he does. Picking up Yugi, winning that duel. Now Sick is going to come in with the AK-47 and turns around and gets shot in back by Nico. Again, the pistols. Like, how are they allowing this?
It's all Heroic need. As they somehow turn it into a 3-on-3, they've been able to drop the AWP and the rifle on Sick and Shazam. Now Amanek looking to try and put a stop to all this madness and return us back to the faithful simulation that we live in. Snappy does grab himself the AWP, now up on short. At this point, he could look to do some serious damage as the bomb's slowly but surely making its way in through mid. If they decide to go up through connector, Snappy can turn this back into a 2-on-2 very easily. And then some, and Sean Garris making his way up short. Modi up in top mid, just a swift 2-tap to dispatch of DreamHack. Snappy now with the AWP, gonna miss that first shot. Swaps out to the USP, but now gonna be going on that long rotate in through shops. They get the bomb down, it's a 2-on-2, but it's uncomfortably close at this point. Modi pushing up in through connector. Amanek's holding the angle, but I think Modi is a good idea as to where he is. Molotov's gonna go out. Amanek falls at the hands of Modi, and now it's all on Sean Garris. 1v2, bomb's gonna be planted for him. They don't have a kit as well, so they've got to move fast into this. Aim punch going to take full effect. He doesn't have a Molotov to deny the defuse. They've got to go quick because time is ticking away. Smoke's going to go down. Sean Garrett's going to take the peak, but he takes it far too slow. And he's just going to be eliminated. Defuse going to come in, and Heroic, once again, it's USPs.
Okay, so now the sun is the moon, to reference what we talked about on desk on the first day, because right now, Heroic logically should not buy any weapons because the 2 last pistol rounds they've won those. To be honest, for Misfits, if you allow to get your opponents on eco to win 2 rounds in a row, you just can't expect to win the map, and that's why they're taking a timeout right now. They need to talk about what goes wrong and how they can allow these USPs to come in. Of course, aim is the big factor here, and Modi's playing really well in this round, and the other guys, of course, playing good around him with these USPs and with that deagle of Valde in the last eco round they had. But still, on a full buy, you should not be able to get anything done with an eco round, especially not on the CT side. Like, I can imagine on a T side, if you do a quick bomb rush with the Tech 9 and you get an opening kill and you can get into post-plan close quarter positions, that's fine. But on the CT side with USPSs, you just shouldn't allow them to do that. And Misfits making big mistakes. Of course, Heroic still aim-wise on point, but still, Misfits they are better than this.
I mean, when people say pistols are overpowered, they mean like the PT-50, the Tech 9. They don't mean the USP or the Glock, you know. This shouldn't be happening. Somehow Heroic, twice in a row. It's not even like there was too much between it. What, 2 out of the last 3 rounds have been accomplished with Heroic on USPs. Misfits, I mean, they've got to be feeling a bit dejected now. You said it like 2 rounds ago that could have been the round that lost them the game. Then they go ahead and instantly return it back. No, this one could have been the one that's lost them the game. 11-13. It's crunch time now because they've got very little money. We can see that they're debating whether or not to buy too much behind this. I imagine we're just going to see them invest down to $2,000.
And this is why I think that they're taking the post now. This is Peacemaker, of course, the coach coming in and saying, okay, this is the time where if we lose like the next buy round, it's going to be done anyways. Like Heroic's going to be on 15, and that's not going to be easy to come back. So he needs to make absolutely sure that his players are in the correct mindset. They know exactly what they need to do in order to win this upcoming round and the round after that as well. Because we saw Heroic can do it on pistols. Now they need to do the same thing on the Misfits side. And they need to not make mistakes because there have been plenty in the last 2, 3, 4 rounds here for Misfits. And that's what been really giving Heroic the victory so far. They have been aiming well, playing clever CS. But then again, Misfits, their mistakes have been the one that has paved the way for this Heroic, well, not comeback, but their recent development in this game.
Yeah, this time bomb's going to be dropped over towards A. We can see 3 players sort of around that mid area. You can see DreamHack actually now pushing up over towards Apps. Sean Garrett is watching any aggression in through Palace, and Yugi has actually opted to take the challenge, going aggressive here, trying to spot out something early on, and now Sean just going to fall on back, picks up the bomb. Amanek as well over in towards T-spawn. Everyone in middle, looking like it is going to be perhaps some sort of B player as they send Amanek up in towards Apps as well. Smoke's going to be thrown in from Sean. It's going to allow him to cross out over in middle as Amanek pushing on up through B Apps. Snappy is here to try and deny any sort of play. Nico's actually got his attention turned to mid, and no one's watching it with the exception of Nico from short. So right now, if they go for the pounds, this could work out brilliantly for them. No one's in a great spot to quickly pivot around. Nico's got to go huge, and he might do that and more. Gets himself 3. He steps up exactly when they needed him to, and suddenly this B play's just been torn limb from limb. He's looking to try and claim himself a 4th as DreamHack gets trapped over in Ladderum. Now coming in from behind, finally pounces, and Nico will go down, but it's still a 2-on-4. They've had plenty of time to rotate players around. They spotted the bomb up on short. The flank's going to come in from Valdi, and now it's all on Amanek. He falls as well. Heroic, they're going to arrive at a 14th round, and that's going to leave them, what, 1 away from map point.
Yeah, definitely. And what they were trying to do there, Misfits actually like the idea in general, doing that B split. But if you do a B split and if you do a split in general, what you need to do 100% the most important thing is the timing. You need to push the angles at the same time so that the CTs get kind of confused of where they should focus their attention. Right now, that was a short push coming in. They lose 3 guys, and after those 3 guys die, the guy in B Palace pushes. That makes no sense. You need to push at the same time to make the CTs question themselves, and also you can split them up. Make them focus on one thing each and not help each other out. And, well, Nico, of course, getting the spray down, there's not much they can do about that, but they should have just taken his attention somewhere else and timed it better, to be honest. That's what I feel like.
Yeah, well, what more can you say? Looks like we're going to be seeing the desperation play coming in.
Here we go.
So they've got a whole bunch of players stacked up over towards B. They throw in that one smoke, and I think that's to try and tempt a bit of a rotate to come through. You can see there's actually 3 players for Heroic over towards this B bomb site, so it might have just paid off for them. They toss the bomb over to Sick, leaving Amanek up in B apps to make some noise, to prevent those rotates, and just to keep the seed of doubt in the head of Heroic, hoping they do keep 3 players here. And he can also come in from the flank in through middle to deny the rotates. 3 players now for Misfits heading over towards this A bomb site with the bomb in tow. Looking like it is just going to be a big fake. Sean Garris staying over here towards B really does make it look like they're going to send one or both of these players in to try and make some noise and prevent these rotates, catch these guys off. Coming in towards A is...
Here we go.
They now push on in. Smokes and flashes rain on through. Sean Garris out of the site as the wall of smokes blocks off short. He gets a lot of work done, and Moddy's, yeah, the only player over towards that A bomb site. This has worked perfectly for Misfits. The only issue is Right now you can see Amanek's actually been allowed to get off of B. Modi's done so much work as well, picking up 2, and this round was looking fantastic for Misfits. Quickly turns sour. DreamHack does find 1 to try and turn the tide of battle, but yeah, there's no time left. Amanek, all he can do is cower in jungle and look to try and save. Does claim 1, but that is going to be it. Heroic arrive at map point, and that round from Misfits was once again very sloppy.
Yeah, that was just Misfits. Of course, I like the idea. Once again, like, the idea is fine. They go for the fake. They sell the fake really well. They actually force, like, Modi to be the only one on site. But then again, they come in, they don't check, like, Shade instantly. They don't even Molotov it or flash it. They just drop into the bomb site. And, yeah. It's hard to say anything positive about that. The fake was good, though. I like the fake. And that's the general gist I get of Misfits on this map. The ideas are good, the decision-making of the strats is fine, but when you get into the middle of the round and the players have to make decisions on their own and have to react to what's happening, that's when they fall apart.
Yeah, exactly. And that's very typical of NA teams. The idea is fantastic, execution a little bit poor, but speaking of execution, Nico, the executor, over towards the B-bomb site, claims 1 as the frags go left and right. It's going to be a 3-on-3. The smoke blocks off the rotate in through shop for the time being, and bomb does go down, so a nice situation for Misfits to be in. 6 tagged down fairly low, but still has the AK to play around with. And well, now as Heroic look trying to make their way in towards the bomb site. Sean Garrett's actually going to take the duel up close with the Tech 9. Backing himself into the corner here on the exit out through shop, and I don't think they're going to check it. They walk on through, but no. He tries to play things smart with the trigger control and ends up paying for it with his life. Shazam and Sick, they've got to go huge to try and win this out. Shazam's doing the damage, but he can't quite find the frag. Sick's able to get 1, but it's all on Shazam. He's been coming up short constantly, and now he's the player to try and clutch this out. 1v1 versus Valdi. Bomb's ticking away. Shazam takes the peak, but he's already bought enough time. And that's Misfits to find themselves a 12th round.
Yeah, once again, we see Sick coming in with the plays, and him opening up that bomb site once again is like what wins Misfits rounds. Their individual skill and their individual successes. Sick coming in with the first one, taking the second one down on Nico. We saw him early on picking up the AWP and the Tech 9 as well. And we saw Amanek and DreamHack in the first half. So this seems to be what are winning Misfits rounds. Like this individual actions, and when they really get off, really get those frags in. So they need more of that, but it's a hard thing to rely on because you can't rely on a player getting like 3 frags or opening every single round. You have to have more than that in your bank in order to be able to get 16 against a good team like Heroic. It might be enough in anywhere else in the world, but right now, the pressure's on.
Yeah, push it on in towards this A-bomb site. Sean Garrett's going to be able to claim 1 life. Shazam's there to join him. The boys from NA look to try and step up. Shazam claims himself a second. This A-bomb site crumbles, and Nico, he's going to fall as well. It's all unsnappy. He does at least find Amanek over in mid, but at that point, bomb's gone down. It's a 1v4. DreamHack and Shazam might be tagged down low, but it's asking far too much for him to try and clutch this out. So Misfits, they go ahead and find themselves a 13th, looking to try and stay in this, clawing their way back to a potential overtime here, but they've still got 2 rounds left to win. They can't have any error.
I like the decision making here. So they are going for something that's very, very simple. Pretty much an A push, then with 1 lurker playing that underpass role and just getting the frags in the end in that position. But it's very simple, and they win the duels. They go for something that they know they always, like they know they can do this. They know exactly where to check the positions. There's something almost every single team can do. They know exactly where to go. And it works out for them. So apparently right now, it's the good old slogan, KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and then it's always going to work out. That's what Misfits need to do right now.
Yeah, the one thing that's going to bode well for them is they should be able to pick up a 14th here. Now, they're only up against USPs, which for most teams, and the 1 rifle, right, which for most teams is no problem. But well, apparently when you're up against Heroic, they do fantastic things with the USP. And so now as they make their way out towards the A-bomb site, they're just going to go in thick and fast. 2 players here towards scaffolding, and already it's happening again. Modi's going to get the first. DreamHack goes down. No trade frag in sight. They've started to rotate players around as now there's a 3rd over here towards the A-bomb site. Yugi up on the stairs with the crossfire set up. Sean's rejoining Shazam up towards ramp. Amanek looking to try and come in as well. Down goes Sick. Not like this, Misfits, please. Shazam does go ahead and get 1 in return. Modi annihilated on his push up towards ramp, but now they're reconsidering their options. They find themselves a man down. They've done a little bit of damage across the board, but ultimately things aren't looking too great. They're going to head a full-on back, looking to now make their way out in mid.
.4v3 right now. Shazam on the AWP. Amanek, last guy to join. The Resistance going into these B apartments. Surely it's going to be B now with 45 seconds remaining, and Nico's the only one on the side right now. Snappy is rotating, but he's not going to go into B. So right now it's only Nico on B. So this is a correct choice for Misfits, going for this B play. The second that Nico spots anyone, that's probably going to be now. He's going to call that, and they're going to do the big rotate. He's dying in the fire right now.
Yeah, things getting a little bit hot and toasty. Valdi's here with the PT-50. Looking to try and find some success, but it's not going to happen. Yugi does have himself an AK, but he's very far away on this rotate.
He's doing that.
Look to save the AK in the next round, which will come in handy. It means they can get that little bit extra utility into what could be the last round, but I'm hoping that Misfits can take this through to OT.
Oh, yeah. So now they defeated their demons of the USPs.
Yeah, exactly, right. They've gone over the hurdle, and this is where, you know, we could see them pick things up. And the pressure is going to be on in this next round, right? This is incredibly important for Misfits. I mean, I said I think that they could take this map. You said, you know, you think it's Heroic's game. At this point, are you still leaning the way of Heroic, or do you think that Misfits have shown a lot here, and maybe we could see them take it?
Like, in the last 2 rounds, I've actually seen them fix some of the mistakes that they've been making throughout this first map. So I'm actually quite confident in the fact that this could actually go to OT. I said it was going to be close on this map as well.
Yeah.
But not as close as we are right now, in my opinion. And I think Pimp as well might be a little bit surprised here, and I think maybe some of the guys in the Twitch chat as well, because Misfits were not supposed to go this close against Heroic, so this could go anywhere right now, and that's a good thing for Misfits, because they still are the underdog despite them coming back.
I mean, I'm just going to throw this out there. I think if Misfits win this, then they could take it 2-1, but we can address that later.
Oh, yeah.
As into this round, the pivotal moment here for Misfits. It is going to be Sean, Garrett, and Davidovec slowly but surely pushing up towards the A bomb site. They've got Sick watching aggression in through mid. There's no AWP for the side of Heroic. Instead, they've got a nice bit of utility across the board, a little bit less than they would have liked. Plenty of kits, though, to play around with, so nothing to worry about there if the bomb does go down. Snappy holding mid over in window. Nico towards short, and actually Yugi's there as well, so they can very quickly have a very heavy mid presence. I'm hoping we don't see Misfits put too much attention there, because it's almost scary how much Heroic are focusing on mid right now.
Yeah. And I think it's the correct choice, to be honest. Having that mid control in Mirage means so much, and you can move so easily around the map if you have that mid control to begin with. And that's where the battle's going to be. Mid and Mirage, round number 30. Misfits, can they claw their way back and bring us into OT?
Yeah, they're sneaking up through connector. There's no smoke down on short, as they're just going into it dry here for the most part. And Valdi has been Molotov'd out of window. There's a lot of players here in mid, though, as I said. And things could get dangerous. Pop flash going to come in from Valdi, but already Misfits have snuck up through connector. It doesn't matter whether or not there's players in mid, because they're already in through the backlines. Amanek and Shazam, they open up the first 2. It's looking like overtime could be on the cards here. Snappy coming up through connector, only gets 1. Yugi and Modi left to try and clutch this out. Modi's going to fall. Yugi finds himself 1v4, does the damage downrange onto Shazam, but he's still got a lot of work left to do. Peeking on out, does get Sick. But then there's Davidovec to instantly return. We're going to be seeing OT, and what a way to kick off today. Honestly, I'm incredibly excited to see what goes on in the overtime, and I'm fingers crossed that we keep seeing this performance from Misfits, because it has been a spectacle.
Definitely, and they fixed a lot, as I mentioned before, a lot of the decision-making mistakes and team basic mistakes, they fixed those. So now it's like good individual play, good decision-making, good team play, and Heroic are now on the like returning end of a comeback. Like they're receiving right now, and they don't know what to do about it. And momentum-wise, it's so hard being in the lead and then seeing that team come back, and there's just nothing you can do about it. So right now, Misfits, if they get this one, I think they might actually have the momentum to at least take this to second overtime. I'm not going to say they're going to win it yet, because they still need to show me a lot. But with the momentum they're going to have right now, I think momentum and the mental lead you can have is so important in an overtime. It's of course important in a normal game as well, but in overtime that momentum just carries you so much. So winning this first round for Misfits on the back of the comeback that they've made, they could go far.
Yeah, I'm looking to try and prove you and the desk wrong, by the way.
Wouldn't it be funny if the only guy who got the prediction-wise was the play-by-play commentator?
Yeah, what do I know about CS?
Yeah.
Nothing. But here we go. Overtime well and truly underway. We can see both sides adopting the AWP early on. Shazam's going to be having his as well over for the T side, trying to grab control of mid. Now, there's actually no one here to watch it. Snappy's falling on back all the way into CT. Instead, watching the and just very passively. And ultimately, you know, this could be their undoing. You can see there's 3 players over towards A, but they've got no information as to what's going on in mid. And with how Misfits is set up, it looks like it's going to be a B split. They've only got Yugi here. Now, Snappy can rotate in very quickly. Yugi has to buy time. And that is the crucial thing in this scenario. Yes. If he goes down straight away, Snappy, while he can get there very quickly, they're already going to be on the site. They've got their utility lined up. He can get smoked and Molotoved out. And it's just going to be a save to come in from Heroic, right? Yugi's already been tagged down low. The rotate should be coming in from Snappy immediately, and he's bought enough time. He didn't die on the instant push. Snappy's now come round and picks up that first frag on a Sean Garrett. They haven't dealt with the players on the site. Yugi popping off with the AWP as well, looking to try and do some damage. Shazam does get one, but Yugi's still alive and kicking and doing more than enough damage than he needed to. Kobe. Does dink down DreamHack. There's the nade, and now it's all on Amanek. 1v3, bomb in hand over towards short. He was the kind of star player in the first half of this, looking to try and secure something. Gonna go for the plant. There's very little time left, and no, I don't even want to let him get the bomb down. Heroic go ahead and pick up the 16th. And they start overtime in a good way, right?
Yeah, the start that Heroic needed coming into this OT, because if you let Misfits run away with the momentum, it's going to be very hard to come back. But right now, they've reset all that momentum, and now it's all square. Well, not square really, because Heroic are on 16, and Misfits are on 15. Still, of course, full buy from both teams. No reason to skip out on any weapons right now. Sean Garrett is doing the early fake towards B. The rest of the team set up towards mid and A. And Yugi here with the AWP. Also very risky to play AWP alone on B bomb side in that last round, but it worked out for them. And as you said, like, if you can buy that time and play cleverly around the bomb side and around the structures, then that's actually going to work out. But it takes a very, very skilled AWP player to actually play that position. But then again, they have so much faith in Yugi, and rightfully so, because he's a very talented player. And letting him control that B bomb side on his own, especially in that first round, is a big way of Heroic saying, we trust you, and trust was rightfully placed.
Now they're sending a couple of players in towards T-spawn, looking like it could be the A fake. I mean, you've got Sean Garrett, Shazam, and Sick all making their way over towards A. Now, alternatively, Amanek and DreamHack the 2 Frenchmen could look to make their way in through lower tunnels and split up through mid, which does seem to be more likely. Usually, if you do go for the fake, you have the brunt of your forces over with the bomb, so I don't see them, you know, going for some sort of 3-man push out towards this A bomb site and then send the bomb in towards B, but it could work, especially seeing as Yugi now does go aggressive, starts to fall on back. Splashes and smokes raining on in towards A. Sick gets the trade, but they have to account for Nico, who's in the same place. They spot him out, go for the pre-fire, but he still gets the frag. Yugi's over here towards B, and he hears the 2 Frenchmen making their way in. They've got to try and spot him out. I don't think they're going to anticipate the site still having this lone player on it with the CZ. He rains death in from short. DreamHack 1v4, picks up the first. He's still got a lot of work to do. He gets a second, but no, Modi is there to deny any attempt at a clutch. 17-15, Heroic win that second round of OT on the CT side.
Yeah, this is a bit dicey right now for the guys from Misfits. If they lose this one as well and Heroic go up 3-0, it's very hard to be in their shoes for now. And if they lose this overtime as well, usually when you have an overtime map and it's on your own map in a best of 3, you just get so deflated mentally from losing that. So Nuke was going to be hard either way for Misfits, but if they lose OT on their own map and then play Nuke, it's going to be incredibly hard for them to come back. Well, let's see here. They're still alive and kicking. Shazam starts us off. And Valde goes down.
Yeah, now Nico's rotated on round to try and find the trade, but no, Sean's going to have no issue taking his head clean off. Now it's Yugi over by Connector. Has that crossfire set up with Snappy over at short. The Molotov's going to fade, and that's going to allow us to be peeking on out, but now Yugi will be smoked off. And what I like what Misfits are doing here. They're not allowing the aggression to kind of run away with them. They found those 2 frags early on. Now they fall back at mid. Amanek's still there, and he's still getting work done as he eliminates Modi. Yugi wants to push on through, potentially to try and find the trade, and he does sneak through the smoke in mid, but the bomb's already rotated back over towards B. DreamHack's out on the A bomb site and just pins Yugi in the back, meaning Snappy now alone, isolated up towards short. Bombs in the back line, but he's not really aware as to where it is just yet, as it does look to go down over towards B. Does the damage on the DreamHack, but then falls. So Misfits, they get themselves one at least, 16-17.
Yeah. It could be way worse than this. And the way that they won the last round as well showed that they have not lost their heads completely. They're still keeping cool and composed because, as you said, they took that the first 2 frags, but then played slowly after that. They didn't press the issue too much. They didn't go fast into a bomb site. So it seems to me that they're still keeping themselves composed, and that's the most important part in an overtime if you can keep your focus, because if you lose that focus, you're going to lose the overtime very quickly. And it seems like Misfits, they're still focused. They still believe in this.
Yeah, I think they have every reason to do so. If it had gone 3-0, then you'd understand them being deflated, right? But they get one round. It's not ideal. Definitely not ideal by a long way, but still, we're heading into this second half of overtime. The double AWP set up for Misfits, Amanek and Shazam. Curious to see how well Amanek does go ahead and perform with that AWP in hand. You can see he's up on top of the van. Will be actually flashed on back by his teammate, and now because he has to take this repeat, Pop Flash comes through, and now this gives him the advantage over Yugi, who has made the right decision. Falls on back, doesn't want to repeat that angle with the AWP just yet. And now looks to make his way in through lower tunnels along with Snappy as they try to grab control in the middle. With where they are, it looks like we could see the play in towards mid and then up connect. A bomb's been dropped over in T-spawn. We could very easily see Nico fall on back to pick that up, or Snappy. But for the time being, they're just waiting it out, allowing that clock to tick down a little bit more, waiting to see if Misfits get aggressive and then try and capitalize on the back of that. Valdi pop flashes himself out over towards Apps, and that's going to force Shazam back in towards the A-bomb. So they lose that little bit of aggression they had, which is a nice play from Heroic. And now we can see them rotating back around, grabbing that bomb, looking to make their way out over towards A.
It's going to be an A execute right now. As you said, the utility usage has been very sparse, but very good from Heroic. They've used it to flash out their opponents, to take them off those aggressive angles. Now it's going to be two guys on the A-bombs. That's going to be Shazam and Devidek. And then Sick in the jungle position. The A execute coming in. Yugi's going to be the linchpin from behind.
Yeah, all the pressure now on Shazam and Devidek. The wall of smokes goes down just to cut the site in half. Modi making his way up through connector as well, which is going to be the thorn in their sides, preventing any sort of rotate. Shazam does get one, but the trade comes in from Valdi. Devidek got to get work done on the site, remains hidden, but Valdi takes the peek and he goes down, so does Sick. And now it's all on Sean Garris and Amanek rotating in from B. As you said, Yugi, the linchpin, coming in from behind, playing that lurk role, preventing these rotates, and actually has allowed them to sneak on out. He's trying to keep his position hidden, and he's just taking it slowly. But already as they lose Sean, it all falls onto Amanek. He goes down as well, and that will be Heroic arriving at map point. 18-16, Misfits have to find the next 2 rounds to take us through to double overtime.
Oh, this is really, really hard for them because it was going to be a hard game anyways, but now they are once again with the backs against the wall. They were like that in regular time. They made the comeback. You just can't count on doing 2 comebacks straight up with so much pressure in a game like this. It's a very, very tough mental situation for the Misfit guys right now, so I hope they stand strong. And remember all the practice that they had in Berlin, that boot camp. Of course, doing great work for them. Modi with the 1-for-1 trade.
Yeah, no. The smoke is down to prevent Snappy going for a refrag just yet, and actually Sick's going to set himself up to try and extend that man advantage even more. The only issue is no one's watching middle right now. You can see Sean Garris is up on short, but he's been blocked off by that smoke. Shazam now falls back out a window as well, and this opens it up to the possibility for Heroic to go ahead and stick someone up in through jungle as well, if they so desire. And they're only boosting a player up in window now. With where Misfits in position, once again, this A-bomb site looks to be a little bit bare. Only Sick and Shazam here. Now Shazam does put the man advantage in favor of Misfits for the time being, but it's instantly put back and actually now turned in favor of Heroic. Sick and Shazam both fall over towards A. The rotate having to come in from Amanek and Sean Garris. The hopes and dreams of Misfits in this map rest on their shoulders once again. Rotating in from over towards B. Sean Garris in CT spawn first has to deal with Valdi and Snappy. Finds the first, but Snappy's here to hopefully refrag this up on the warhead. Will be able to dispatch of Sean Garris. Amanek now 1v2. We've seen him pull off some amazing stuff this game. Pop Flash going to come out from CT. Bomb's ticking down. He's going to be on the clock. Got to watch out because he's got players on ramp and CT. It's ticking away. Molotov's gone down. Picks up the first on a Snappy. There's still time left for him to play around with, but it's quickly running out. He's got a Molotov. Going to go ahead and toss it over towards ramp, but he misses the mark. Going to stick the defuse. Pete comes in from Yuki. He does find the frag. Going to go for the defuse. I think there might be just enough time left, and he might have done it. Amanek, by the skin of his teeth, going to keep Misfits in this. And what a roller coaster of emotions. That was insane.
Absolutely insane, off the charts. Magnifique, as they say in France, because that was absolutely insane from the Frenchman there. Takes that first shot through the box. Molotov misses, but that also forces the terrorist to come out because he knows there's a gap in that Molotov. He knows he can peek without taking damage, but that shot just hits. And Amanek and Devidek especially have been so on point in this game. Them and Sick are the reason that Misfits are in this overtime right now.
It is a proud day to be a Frenchman right now.
Oh, yeah. Definitely.
It is fantastic performance from these two players, almost alone, that has kept Misfits in this, in a couple of these pivotal rounds. Yeah, and now they've only got to win once to head through to double overtime. You know, if they can make the comeback happen twice, that's going to be insane. That's going to start to wear down on Heroic sometime soon. Let's
see here. Looks like an A split again coming in from Heroic. Push going to come in from Rams. Sick with the first one.
Yeah, they're continuing this reign of terror. Snappy, how to put it a little bit more even as he does do the job of eliminating Sick, but DreamHack, he's hidden on the site. They haven't cleared him out just yet, and it doesn't matter because Shazam, he's popping heads. Valdi does get one into DreamHack, but Shazam is there to trade things out. It's all on Yugi, who's now looking to try and clutch this out. Turns the 1v3 into a 1v2, but he's still got Shazam and Sean Garris left to find. Sean over towards ramp, Shazam in CT. Shazam's actually fallen on back to watch the push in through the murder hole into CT. Now, this is good because it looks like Yugi might do it, but it's a little bit risky as well because Sean isn't in a position to trade this out. If Shazam does go down, then that leaves this all on Sean. Now, luckily enough, Yugi's going to make his way back around towards stairs in through jungle, facing off only against Sean Garris. Shazam making the right call to rotate on up. With only 20 seconds left, he's got to be coming in from this angle. As time does whittle away, he spots out Sean first. Now going to take the peek onto Shazam, and he finds the frag. Misfits, they live to fight another day. 18-18, double overtime now. I mean, Risk, what are your thoughts on this? I think Misfits have gone above and beyond most people's expectations.
They have gone above and beyond mine. They have gone above and beyond the desk. I think most of the Twitch chat right now also think, okay, Misfits might have a chance. If you ask almost anyone apart from die-hard NA fans before this game, who was going to take the match, everyone would say Heroic, to be honest. You're practically the only one who believes in this.
I was the only one.
But this is actually looking fine for them because, like, as I mentioned, I said this like 3 times now, the mistakes that they've made that looked like bad for them and the stuff that made them lose rounds in the regular time, they are fixing these right now. They're playing together like a team. They're making good decisions, and it seems like they're communicating better as well. Everything is working out for Misfits right now. 2 times in a row with their backs against the wall, they grab 2 rounds and bring it back into the game again. Back into OT at the first time, then they're back in the first overtime, grab 2 in a row there. Now in second overtime. Like, how far can they go?
I mean, it's scary if it keeps going too long. Everyone's just deteriorating. But yeah, right now we can see Heroic. They've got a couple of players over in towards middle. Yugi watching any sort of aggression with that AWP. Means Sean can't peek out through windows. Sick and DreamHack have posted themselves up in connector to try and deny this play in through lower tunnels. DreamHack going to take the first frag, looking to try and get even more. Does the damage on the Valdi, and that allows Sick to rotate on through and pick that up, no problem. Instantly there on the refrag. Frag's going back and forth, but actually it's only Yugi and Snappy left fighting for Heroic now as Misfits. They've clamped down in this round, looking to just try and mop these players up. Yugi's going to be tagged down low. Sick finds himself a second frag in mid. And then down goes Snappy. Misfits at 19-18. They pick up the first round of OT, and that is a much better start if you're a Misfits fan.
Momentum now. As I mentioned in the first overtime, if you come back, take it to OT, and you win that first overtime round as well, the momentum is going to be in your favor. You're going to be the one dictating the pace of the game. Now coming back from that first overtime, getting the 2 in a row, now 3 in a row for Misfits. They are the ones dictating the pace. Heroic have to stop them right now in their tracks, or else Misfits are going to run away with it. And what an upset that would be. Them taking the map here.
Nico and Snappy up towards a ramp. Sick's actually gone aggressive. Has DreamHack here to try and trade things out if need be. I mean, they are wary of the aggression to come in. They're both just holding the angle passively. Bomb along with Yugi over towards B and Valdi in Palace. Sean Garris rotating around a CT spawn. I imagine they try and cover these guys from Palace in case the potential push does come through. That does leave Shazam a little bit naked and alone over in mid. No one there to look out for him, so he's going to opt to fall on back into the relative safety of that B bomb site to have this crossfire set up with Amanek. Both teams just waiting.
Yeah, you can just feel the tension right now. Both teams know that the team that takes this round is going to gain a big advantage, and right now it's going to be a double frag. Amanek answering back though.
Yeah, it does manage to get one. The push in towards this A bomb site coming through. Sean Garris got some serious work cut out from him. The wall of smokes is down, and he's going to fall to the hands of Valdi. But in comes Shazam. We've questioned him a lot, and now he's got to step up to try and stop these players surging in towards this A bomb site. Goes for the flick, but he's going to be tagged down low. 8 HP in a dream. Nico comes round and picks it up. It's all on Amanek. 1v3. Home crowd just digging into the back of his head as he tries to clutch this out. Takes the peek, but they face him at the same time, and he will fall. 19-19.
And that's a problem with playing a double op setup on the CT side, because if you come into a retake situation and you have 2 ops, it's going to be incredibly hard to retake a bomb site, because you know that the AKs can just be close range and dancing around taking you out. Also, the fact that they don't wait for each other in that position is kind of a little bit of a mistake, to be honest, because the bomb wasn't even planted, so there's not really a time like taken down or anything. They just should wait for each other and then retake together, but like 2 AWPs, it's hard to retake with that. There's just not a lot to be said. Valde with a shot that he should not be able to hit, or Shangaris goes down. Duel lost, and advantage lost as well. It's just Sam answering back now. He's been actually okay in overtime, in my opinion. He was looking subpar in the regular time, but in overtime, I have to say, his AWPing skills have been pretty much on point.
And look at Sick. He's the linchpin. He could be the difference maker coming in from behind. They have no clue that he's here. They left mid entirely open. And Valde and Yugi, both attention turned onto Shazam, so much so that none of them checking behind. Sick's just got ahead and sprinted on up, finds both frags necessary. And now the lone 2 players up in towards Palace. Snappy's out here on his own. Sick's gonna go ahead and take even more, gets himself a 3rd. And now it's all on Modi. 1v4. To try and pick up this next round for Heroic. Does spot out 1 player in CT, but Shazam is there. And that is going to be the 20th round to go the way of Misfits. They pick up 2 in this overtime, meaning they only need 2 to win this map out. Or 1, alternatively, to take us through to a 3rd overtime.
Back and forth, my friend, back and forth. Sick with a sick flank, pun intended. Coming in there, taking 2 frags, and that's pretty much what wins them around in this situation. And one thing I have to say in critique of Heroic, they seem to be a bit too slow to press the issue when they need to. They are waiting a lot on getting those duels and winning those duels before going in towards a bomb site. And that's something I like to see them do more. Like if they go to a 3rd OT, which I think is a big possibility here, do a quick push on the T side, because so far in this game, in the OT, it's been very much a waiting game. CTs are waiting for the Ts to execute. If they go for a quick push and surprise them, that might gain them a couple rounds on that T side. But right now, it's Misfits on the T side. They're the ones who are 2 rounds away from securing a win here in Mirage.
Yeah, and this time, all the pressure going to be on Heroic, as they're the ones who have to field a stronger CT side. 3 players already over towards B for the side of Misfits. Shazam trying to find this first frag. You can tell he's more confident now than what he was in that first half. And there we go. He spots Snappy up on top of the van. That B bomb site has just been opened up. He was the only player there. And the rotate from Yugi taking an incredibly long time to come through. Nico's kind of a lost cause over towards short as well. It hasn't left position, just waiting instead to see if anyone makes their way in through middle. And of course, no one is there. Davidovec to pounce in on the backline. Bomb's going to go down, and Yugi misses that 1 shot. That could have been the equalizer found, but this is looking great. The team flash comes in from Heroic, and this lack of communication, it's looking very disjointed from them now. Davidovec coming in on the monster flank from the A bomb site. Yugi's going to go down. Now they've got to worry about the Thorn in their sides. He does only get 1, but then there's Sick instantly there to refrag and more. Picks up 2. It's all on Nico over in short. He's only just left ladder room. And it, like I said, just a lost cause at this point. Already been smoked out. It's going to be the round going the way of Misfits. He does get 1 on a Sean Garris, but time's ticked down so far. 21-19. They only need 1 round.
Oh, wow. This is actually getting down to the wire. With Misfits winning this one, being 1 round away from taking map 1 against Heroic. And Sick finishing it off. Once again, a great round by the young player. He's right now topping the scoreboard. He's 34-25 right now. Great scoreline from him. 2nd on the scoreboard is Valde with 33. 3rd is Yugi with 31. Early smoke here, of course, to block off mid vision for the CT AWP. No one's going to go there on the T side, though, but still just making their presence known, making sure that that CT AWP can't do anything. Davidek opens up. Gap in the smoke there, maybe? Modi making the mistake of peeking. Shazam now on this AWP. Has been great in this OT with the AWP.
And you know, I stand by what I said, Misfits. I think they're going to take this 2-1 if they win this map. It's looking good from them. I think Heroic looking a little bit deflated right now. I mean, not the same sort of confidence we've seen from them. Valde's over in connector. Yugi's quickly rotating background over towards A, which is the right call to make. We can see the bomb, along with everyone on this side of Misfits, just slugging it in through T-spawn over towards this A bomb site. Now taking things slowly there. Going in, so they don't know about aggression up towards A. They haven't had anyone here to watch it, so they have got to check all these angles. It's going to slow things down as they be very methodical on the approach. And of course, no one has got aggressive for this side of Heroic. Instead, it's really only Yugi and Valdi with an earshot. And even then, Yugi the only one who can make immediate contact. And he's going to fall straight away as Shazam opens up the A bomb site. He's been on point with the AWP in the last couple of rounds. Valdi over in connector. Nico coming in through mid. Got to clear out Amanek first, who's biding his time under the smoke. The spray's going to come through. Valdi does claim one, but Amanek on the flank. And these flanks have been huge time and time again from Misfits. Amanek's going to go ahead and get both in mid. It's all on Snappy, 1v3, and he goes down. Misfits are going to pick things up. They go ahead and close it out in the second OT. They take Mirage. And I mean, that means, in my opinion, we're going to be seeing Train come in, right? I think this is going to be phenomenal. That was such a good way to kickstart today.
What a way to kickstart it, actually. And you can see Snappy's destroyed. And that's the one thing that Heroic needs to do right now. They need to mentally reset. They need to act like Mirage never happened, because it shouldn't have happened, let's be honest. And now they need to focus on their own game on Nuke. But so far, I have to say, very well played by Misfits in that victory. I have to say, Sick was on point. Shazam's AWP started off very rough, came back in OT, did really well. But Amanek and Davidovec, in my opinion, are the two players to highlight on this Misfits side. The two French guys, of course, in home turf, here in Tour, doing it really well.
Yeah, and you know, I just think time and time again, they got themselves in such good positions on that T-side where they could just get into these amazing flanks that almost single-handedly turned the tide of the last 4 rounds. We saw like those monster flanks being employed, and there was no remedy to it coming in. So I think an amazing performance from Misfits moving into Nuke. I do think that's Heroic's home turf, and I imagine we can speak about that a little bit more when we get to it. But as for this one, you highlighted Amanek and Davidovec. Sick definitely deserves a mention as well. I think he top-fragged there towards the end. He did phenomenally well. I just think what a monster performance from them. We couldn't have asked for more. Like I said, what an amazing way to kickstart today. Of course, the team, the home crowd are very much rooting for because of the couple of French players in there and the, the French roots and whatnot. Just phenomenal, really.
It's an underdog story. Really.
Yeah, I'm lost for words.
What's the team, like them and Trick were the two teams who were like, okay, they're not going to do really that much damage at this event. Everyone was saying that. Now Trick has taken down G2. Misfits has taken the first map in this best of 3 against Heroic. Yeah. Like, what can they do? Like, how far can they go?
Yeah, exactly. How far can they go? And that's the question we can only really ask ourselves as we continue the best of 3. Of course, this is the first best of 3 today. There's still another one coming up, but we're going to be moving on to map 2 very, very shortly. That's, of course, going to be Nuke. Can I get your prediction for that one? I already know what it's going to be, right?
Heroic's going to win that. If they don't win that, I see some very big problems within the Heroic side. Because if they can't win Nuke against Misfits, I know they're going to be deflated, but they have to be able to reset themselves. They're a top team. If they can't do that, they don't belong in the top. It's that easy.
Yeah, exactly. And, I'm going to say the same thing. I think Heroic are going to pick up Nuke. I think it's all going to come down to Train, which is a whole different ball game when we get to it. At which point, I guess we could speak about that a little bit more when the situation does come down. Because who knows? Nuke could still go the way of Misfits. After how they played, it's really anyone's game. But ultimately, this one does go the way of Misfits. 1-0 right now in the series. There's still all to play for. We will be back after a quick break.